We're continuing to follow coverage of the election interference case now dropped in Fulton County. And taxpayers in Fulton County could be on the hook for millions of dollars in legal fees spent on the 2020 election interference case against President Donald Trump and more than a dozen others. A new state law allows for reimbursement in cases where the prosecutor is disqualified for misconduct and those charges are dismissed. 11 Alive's Grace King joining us live from the newsroom today. This law we're talking about, Grace, Senate Bill 244, went into effect this year. You have covered this case from the first indictment 2 years ago. Where does it go from here?
Well, now that all charges are dismissed, the criminal part of this case is over, but multiple attorneys tell 11 Alive they will be filing motions to recoup their legal fees. We went through campaign finance records to see how much that could cost. It's hard to quantify just how much the state v. Donald Trump has cost. How expensive would attorney's fees in a case like this be?
I can't even imagine.
The years-long legal battle reached every level of state court before Fulton County Judge Scott McAfee dismissed the whole thing. Emory law professor Kay Levine says those costs will add up, especially when you look at the lawyers tapped for this case.
My guess is that they are well compensated for the time and talent that they bring.
Campaign finance records show Save America paid more than $2.7 million in legal consulting fees to law firms helping President Donald Trump. One of their main recipients was Steve Sadow, who says he will be moving for attorney's fees and costs under Georgia code.
There was a lot of pretrial conversation. There were certainly some pretrial occasions where the judge called people into court. There were motions filed or briefs filed by the lawyers.
Those same databases show the Make America Great Again PAC spent another $3.7 million on legal consulting for defendants in the case and recount efforts. But ultimately, Judge Scott McAfee will have to decide what reasonable costs are and what's actually related to this prosecution.
In civil cases, when lawyers file claims for fees, they will submit a bill, but the judge doesn't necessarily give it to them. That does not give, like you can say, like, I spent 500 hours on this case, and the judge will say, like, well, that's all well and good, but you're going to get compensated for 100 hours.
Now, as written, the law says any reimbursement of legal fees would come from the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, which receives state, federal, and local funding. The proposed Fulton County budget for next year is $39.4 million, but these attorneys' fees, in theory, could equal a decent chunk of that.
Grace, thanks so much. Right now, political experts are weighing in on what can be learned from this case. We spoke to Emory political science professor Andra Gillespie.
There's going to be a lesson to be learned here about prosecutors making sure that their cases are airtight, and actually also that they don't open up any possible door for people to be able to get cases thrown out on technicality. So I think, people are going to scrutinize, and people will probably mention Fonnie Willis's alleged romantic entanglements as sort of a factor in the dismissal of the charges in this case. I think some people are going to look at this kind of based on their own partisan standpoint.
And you can check out all the coverage we have done on this case right now on our website, 11alive.com.